Hello, my name is Ray Morris and I teach electrical technology at a community college, and today we're talking about residential devices and switches. The duplex receptacle, as you can see, I've got some arrows there. The orange arrows indicate the hot. That's where the ungrounded wire goes. It's always black, or for residential and Romex it's black. Where the gray arrows are is the neutral, there's the grounded screw. I always tell everybody we're trying to get the ungrounded going to the grounded, so we're trying to make that loop. The green arrows is the grounding screw, and that's where your bare wire goes. And you can see the terminals. Where the terminal is, that's where you put your wire, and where you put your plug in, that's how it connects to it. This is a 15 amp receptacle because it's got all vertical slots. As you can see here, the 15 amp is on the left. The one on the right is a 20 amp. And I always tell everybody, if you turn it sideways, you got a T, and this T stands for 20. And that's the neutral side, or the grounded slot. And if you look, sometimes male plugs will have a horizontal prong and a vertical prong, and that's what that's for. It's a heavier duty piece of equipment. It carries more amperage, and they don't want you to be able to plug it in a 15 amp receptacle because it could possibly damage it. As you can see here, these are the difference between a residential grade and a commercial grade receptacle. A lot of people don't realize this, but the residential grade, the metal that supports the receptacle goes straight down. If you look at the one on the left, where the screws are, that metal guard there goes straight down. But on the commercial side, where the screws go on top, you can see the metal goes back behind the receptacle all the way through. And it's for support. Most residential receptacles, they're not used a whole lot. They don't need to be heavy duty. So they're made a little bit cheaper and less expensive, I guess, cheaper product. Types of switches, you got your toggle switch and your decor switch. If you look on a lot of your HGTV shows, a lot of them have the switch on the right. It was interesting, I had a guy from Florida come up, took one of my classes, and he'd never seen a toggle switch. And a lot of the guys in the class that had been around here had never seen a decor switch. So it's just different areas of the country. I do personally like the decor switch because you can hit it with your knuckle or just kind of press it. You don't actually have to flip up or flip down, but they are a little bit more expensive. But you can see on the left of the toggle switch, it's got two brass screws and a grounding screw, the green one. GFIs, ground fault circuit interrupter. They have a test and reset button. You see these a lot of times in kitchens and bathrooms. They're supposed to be there. A lot of times, if you have an issue in your kitchen or all your receptacles are dead, you check the breakers and they're good. A lot of times you just got to reset your GFI. But these are supposed to be within 6 feet of water or anywhere where moisture is around, like outdoors or in your garage. But you can tell this is a 15 amp GFI. How to wire up a GFI? You got line and load, and you can see the line is up top and the load is down bottom. I always tell everybody, wire up alphabetical order. LI always comes before LO. So the LI, the line side, is going to be the wires coming from the breaker box. So you leave the breaker and you're going to wire up the GFI, you're going to go to the line side. And then anything downstream that you want to be controlled by this GFI, you'll wire up to the load side. And that's, sometimes you'll buy these and they'll have a yellow strip on the load side. Well, that's the reason. They want to make sure you wire up to the line side. If you wire up to the load side from the breaker, it will not work. And of course you can see it says hot and white. Hot meaning you're ungrounded. White is your neutral or grounded. And these you strip and you push straight in, and they got a clamp. They'll clamp down on them. But you can see the grounding identifier up top, right on the left side of the red line. That's where your ground bare wire will go. It can take copper. It does not take aluminum, because if you look at the top right, it says CU, and the AL, it looks like it has a mark through it. That means you're not supposed to use it. Obviously, warranty void if you open it, and there's your strip gauge. That's about how far back you're supposed to strip it and slide it in. But I always hook up LI before you do LO. Now, sometimes, in this rare cases that you will put something on a GFI and then downstream you want to keep it hot, well, that's the reason you got two holes on the line side. That way, if you want to come in from your breaker to the line side and then you leave on the line side, when this GFI trips, it will not trip or cut off anything downstream. I tell everybody that if you hook up both on the line side, that's just like a wire nut and you're twisting them together. The two holes, you slide both your wires in there, your two blacks, that's just like wiring them together. And your two whites will be the same way. The GFIs are a little tricky, but they're real easy. They're easy fixes. And they come with a cover. When you buy a GFI, they're $8 to $12, something like that. They'll come with obviously the GFI, and then they'll also come with a cover. Regular receptacles do not. You would think they would, if they do GFIs. It's something to think about. But this is a 15 amp GFCI because it's got all vertical slots. Alrighty, that's a quick lesson on devices in a house. Obviously, you do have some stove, some dryer plugs, some three-way switches, four-way switches, but we'll get into them in another video. But this is just to show you the basics: single post switches, 15 amp, 20 amp GFIs, or 15, 20 amp receptacles. Alrighty, hope you enjoyed it.